All right, Shalom, Mike Yum. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that's teaching His word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And today, I just want to get into a lesson on pretty much how these people they're going to be destroyed. They're going to die for the tiny hats, pretty much. This war, and even if it dies down, in a sense, whatever the case may be, it's still World War III is still on the table, because we understand it's an order within prophecy. That mark of the beast, the MOTB, has to be implemented first. You know, this digital system and that microchip, it got to be a mandate. But World War III is on the table. That's the final scene to this system, you know. And in that, we see the build up to it. And how Amalek, those tiny hacks, is the catalyst for it. And now you even have the American Edomite to see through it. And they resisting. But whoever resisted the will of the Most High. So they gonna die for the tiny hats. So this is a article from the NorthStar.com, and it reads, let's be honest, American soldiers aren't dying for America. They're dying for Israel and Israel alone. And we all know it. See? And that's what it's gonna be. See, all these wars, you go back to it, somehow Amalek had his hand in it, benefit from it, from the results. You know, even now niggas getting off, who produce weaponry and sells it, they getting off now. But you best believe, Amalek has something to do with it. But as you can see, the people are they see it. They gonna die for the tiny hats, and that's the truth. Matter of fact, let's start off with this in Jeremiah 49. And now this scripture is making more sense as we get closer and closer to the perfect day. Things are becoming clearer and clearer. You know, the Lord told us the who, what, when, where, and why. And now we actually seeing it play out. You know, you wondering how all these nations will end up turning and hating the whore. And these things come about. Now you see why, So this Jeremiah 49. And verse 20, it reads, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So this is the purpose of the Lord. He calls the least of the flock, which is Israel, Amalek, that tiny piece of land. And, when you look at it geographically, that plot of land is what's going to cause this global war. And in that, the results is what? They're going to be made desolate, man. And you're going to draw them out. Another word, the definition is to drag. And that's been a lot of that's the word they've been using in these news, anchors and motherfucker doing an interview. They saying they didn't drag us or they did drag us. Cause that's what they dragging you into that war. But that's the fate of this devil. See, his fate is to go out in this fashion, because that was his blessing. The way this man came about was through bloodshed, murder, rape, and robbery. But now it's gonna come to you in a package deal by the way of World War III. Matter of fact, continue on, it says the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. And that's going into World War III. Because the earth is gonna shake. It's gonna be loud from the explosions. So that's gonna be the climax to this man's system, is to go out in this fashion. What's that in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter? 2nd Ezra 4:28. Because ultimately, Amalek, they are the leaders of Edom. You know, they the one that's they the heads. You know, they the one that they got the birthright in the sense of the influence and the power. And you think of anything that's owned, a corporation, you trace it back, go back to a tiny top. The nigga cornered the water. You go back to it, the nigga bottled up water and start selling. You go back to a tiny top, man. So they are the leaders of Edom. You know? And but you always had the other Edomites that hate them. For an example, the KKK and shit. Even though they were Edomites, they hated Amalek, you know, but Amalek is their leaders. And they gonna go and they're gonna get in that box. If they don't, they're gonna be anti-Sem. You know? It says, this 2nd Ezra 4:28, it says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So that evil is here in America. This is that evil on display in its perfection. It said ultimately, but the destruction is not yet come. That's the fate of this place. The destruction. And we see it, you know, things are getting gathered for this final scene. Everybody about to be put in place. And even this digital system, that's the curveball. You know, everybody so focused on World War III. That curveball is going to be that chip. Then World War III, you know. It says, if therefore that which was sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. So this place has to be passed away. It has to be destroyed before the kingdom of heaven could be established. So this is a necessary evil. Before the kingdom of heaven can be established, World War III has to happen. So for these hardcore Christians, they want to talk about the end times and the apocalypse. Want to bring up Armageddon. Well, yeah, that you're a part of that. You part of that report. You're gonna suffer from those things. These people, man. No, we just hope the Lord keep us. You know, because what the scripture say. Let's get that in the book of Habakkuk. And just hope the Lord keep us. Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 2, it reads, O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. See? So the Lord, his wrath is on display now. But it's going to be in his fullness when he pour it out by the way of the event of World War III. That's going to be the Lord. First, I ain't going to pour it out without mixture, man. No chaser, nothing. It's going to be the missiles, straight fire. That's why we said, wrath, remember mercy, because somebody got to be saved from, you know. That's what we hope. But somebody got to suffer from that wrath as well. And that's these people outside of this truth, man. So even these niggas, they went to go sign a military contract so they can get that charge. Them niggas gonna die for the tiny hats. You know, these patriotic Edomites. Nigga voted for Trump 3 years, you know what I mean? 3 terms in a row. Nigga, for 12 years, this nigga been for Trump. Now he got to go and die for the tiny hats. That's the climax of these people, and they hate them. Even the scripture, it become, it's more light shed on that scripture. They shall hate. I mean, they shall regard kings, or they shall not regard them. Niggas already coming up with a scheme to dodge the draft, but guess what? That shit ain't gonna work. They gonna send your ass over there. What you gonna do? Die for them tiny hats? That's the fate of these people. Matter of fact, let's see some. Revelation chapter 18. It's 18. So like 16. Revelation 16 and 16, it says, and he gathered them together in a place in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon, the mountain of the troops, man. So the Lord gathering these nations together, this big war. This is what we come. This is where we at in this process, man. We come into the final scene of this age. This is how this place is gonna go out. This is how the scene is gonna close out with this great war. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came out a voice of the temple from heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done." See, and that's the complete destruction. Angel ain't had to say he left a corner. No, the destruction gonna be, and Scripture talk about that in the seventh shall no evil touch thee. So before that destruction come, we got to be out of here, man. In that safe zone, which is in the heavens, in those chariots. See, things are now coming together. You got the Pentagon reporting so-called, what they call them, UAP sightings, and they the one that reporting you concerning that matter. So that show you where we at in this process. Everything is coming together, becoming clearer and clearer, It says, and there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men was upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, so great wrath. See? That's the destruction. That's World War III at its height, at its climax, when those missiles are shot across the earth, man. And what's going to be the result? The people going to be put to death. It talks about from the horse's bridle. So there's going to be a lot of death, man. You can see the Lord handle where they going to die for the tiny hats. The motherfucker hate them rats, man. But they're going to get sent over there and be destroyed, We just hope the Lord keep us when his wrath is on display. So I might just hold it with edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachah, Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Mills now. Shalom to the elect. Teaching word on true faith and sincerity. Shalom.